living abroad and studying alone or just living here alone already is stressful, it's lonely, it's a lot. So you just trying to take everything in on your own without having a community of people you can run to can be very challenging. That's why every time people travel out, next thing they're talking about depression here and there.
Depression. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today, you guys know what is happening. Today is the second episode of Lenses, and today I have with me the very fantastic Nancy. She's here to share a whole lot with us. If this is the first time you're actually, coming across this video, let me tell you a bit more about lenses. So with lenses, international students and people from all walks of life come on and share like live in the various countries they are at, so that it will help you guys make decision. If you're considering moving abroad, you'll be able to know more about this country. And then if you want to get in touch with the person that kind of like share the information to really kind of like get to know more, then obviously with this session you reach out to Nancy and she's going to like give you more details about it. So let me not rant on. Let me allow her to introduce herself. Please go on ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Mide Nancy, Olamide Nancy. I'm Nigerian, but I live in France. I work in France, study in France, and I have been living in France for a while. And I make videos about life in France, study in France, and so many things like lifestyle like that. So, thank you so much, Anita, for inviting me to your channel. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Let's start the session by asking Nancy a bit about herself. So Nancy, can you share a bit about you with us? When did you come to France, and then which university did you move to study in?
Yeah. I came to France in 2020, October, and I came to France actually on a work visa. I came to France to work as an English language assistant. It means you get to work in like secondary schools as an English language assistant. And I did that for like 2 years. And then I started my master's last year, September, and at the University of Lille. So, University of Lille in France. So basically, that's what I've been doing in France: work and study, work and study. Yeah,
Wow, wow.
yeah.
That's so cool. That's
Thank
so
you.
cool. That's so cool. Okay, so now we are going to get into the like the main part of the conversation where we're going to talk about life in France and that of Italy. Let's start off with what were some of the requirements to get into the university?
Okay. To get into the university, I'm just going to briefly mention these requirements.
Yeah.
It was like the like your transcript, your like bachelor's, because I'm a master's student, so your bachelor's degree transcript, your CV, your like recommendation letters. Actually, to apply to study in France, if you are still back home in your own country, there's a platform that you have to use, and it's called Campus France. So there's Campus France Ghana, there's Campus France Nigeria, Campus France Kenya, Campus France China. So you just need to go through the Campus France of your own country. So it's an institution set up by France in every like partner countries. So it makes the application and everything easier for the citizens to apply to study in France. So yeah.
Wow, that is
Mhm.
so cool. It's just like the one that we have here, not
Okay.
really for like every country, but then this one is like Universe Italy. So wherever you're coming from, you can just it's for international students.
Well,
So you
that's
can just
interesting.
go there to kind of like know more about coming to study, what are the
Mhm.
requirements and all of that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Now I want us to quickly talk about, someone is thinking of moving to France. What are some of the things they need to expect? They are coming to study or work. What are some of the things they should look out for?
Basically, just like any other European country, maybe you'd also mention some of the ones, things if you look out for Italy. I feel like you should be open-minded. They're like different type of people in France that's like unlike where you're coming from. Maybe you're coming from a country where everyone is happy, or like things are like, here, like there are so many things you have to deal with. One of it could be racism. It depends on your situation, depends on your city as well, because some cities, people are really like racist and like, closed minded. And sometimes you could be in a very friendly city like student environment, so it depends. So one thing that you should also keep in mind is that my experience is going to be different from your experience. So everyone's experience is going to be different. So you need to be open minded when you're coming. And as well, you need to, I would also say that you need to um, stay connected. So try to connect yourself with people. There are going to be groups, international students in so country, or Nigerians in Lille, or Nigerians in Paris. Like, basically join groups, and don't just separate yourself, don't seclude yourself from everyone. We get information from international students. There are so many things that I benefit today, and that's thanks to me knowing one person that knows one person that knows one person. So try not to box yourself to a corner. Living abroad and studying alone, or just living here alone, already is stressful, it's lonely, it's a lot. So you just trying to take everything in on your own without having a community of people you can run to can be very challenging. That's why every time people travel out, next thing they're talking about depression here and there.
Depression.
And then you're wondering that the depression you never had back home, how come you're having it? But actually depression is real over
Mm-hmm.
here. So some of the things you could use to tackle that is just to, join a community. If it's a
Community.
church or a mosque, a place of worship, somewhere you can just go to like breathe every week, or like every once in a while. So those are some of the candid advices that I'm going to give you. And I'll also tell you that you should be open to opportunities. When you see a link somewhere, open it and see if you qualify. And don't be afraid to like send out your CVs. Like I've sent Don't be afraid to send your CVs to organizations, and just pitch yourself, go for job fairs, do things that can help you and your life. Literally, you're on your own now and you're an adult. So, yeah, these
So
are some
this,
of the things I would say. What about
uh,
you? Like, are there similarities from what I mentioned, or?
exactly, exactly. Like you should be so open-minded and out here, like here in Italy, you really, really need to be open to learning the language. Because
Mm,
if you really want to be able to relate with people, be able to get good offers, it comes with the knowledge. Because most people, it's now the majority of people are trying to learn English. Okay, so you have to be willing to learn the language. You need to be open-minded, and I feel like you should also like expect anything. You
yeah.
know, you're going
Mm,
to meet people that are going to be rude to you, but then it's not necessarily, we are going later on we're going to talk about racism, but then
okay.
sometimes you should be able to differentiate between someone treating you because that is how they are, like they treat people poorly because that's how they are, and someone treating you because of your maybe your
Yeah.
race or your color or anything like that. So just like Nancy's mentioned, it's actually true. Wherever you're intending to move to, just be open minded, okay?
Mhm.
Just be open minded and will like be willing to kind of like integrate with the
Integrate.
people,
Yeah.
join groups. Yeah, if you try to do it alone, I'm telling you, it's so lonely out here.
At
If
all.
nobody tells you this, we are telling you, it's just so lonely out here. So it's good for you to join a community. Okay, let us quickly talk about some. I know we've spoken about what the person should expect, but then most people are coming to study. Some are also looking at getting work and all of that, which is like, to me, these are very, very great. But then what do you think are some skills that people can kind of like pick up before coming in?
Okay.
Let's rush quickly.
Actually, like a lot of people contact me and ask me, should I learn how to like barb hair, like cut hair? Should I learn how to like sew and everything? I'm just like, unfortunately, France is not that country where you come in with like I sew from my country. France is like the center of fashion. Big brands are here. They're not just going to allow anybody to just enter into like their fashion world. So like even so, and even to enter like the fashion schools and everything, you need to be established already from wherever you're coming from. So you could learn how to sew if you want, and maybe be sewing things for yourself if you just to keep yourself company. But it's not a place you can come in with trade mentality, like, oh, I'm going to
Mhm.
try to. So what most people come here, what I'll tell you, what I'll just say is that come here with the mindset that whatever job you find, you're going to do. You're not really
Mhm.
going to be like offended, like, oh, in my country, I was, I was before I came to France, I was this, I was that. Here, it can humble you. You might
Yes.
find something that is below, like something that you would never think of doing, and then just to
Yeah.
survive, you just have to take it. I mean,
Take it.
personally, I don't have that experience, like of maybe washing toilets or something like that, but there are many people that do it and it pays well, maybe just
Yeah.
for a while before they find something even bigger.
Better.
And then so
Yeah.
just come with that mentality. I've also known I also know about people that come here with like making hair skills, and then you
Yeah.
just need to teach yourself to anybody you see on your campus that is black and makes
Exactly.
braids. You just have to I have people that have tapped me like, sister, sorry, I make hair. Like they say it in French or in English. Sorry, I make hair. If you ever need someone to make your hair, this is my
Yeah.
number.
Very good.
I mean, once in a while, 30, 40 euros you get from making people's hair, it's like an extra. So it's not something that you can set up a shop and start making hair, but you can
Exactly.
come with like, you can come with like, if you need items, you can knit nice things and make like big beach wears and pitch them to you. So you can come with like your skills, definitely. If you know how to cut your hair already, you can come, but I'm just trying to tell you that it's not something you come here and then you just go to a shop and be like, sorry, I know how to cut hair from my country. Can I help? They're not going to, like for France, there are protocols for everything. So just
Everything.
come
Okay.
with the mentality that whatever you find doing, you're going to excel at it, and you're just going to
Okay.
have that open mind that you'll be fine and you'll find something better. So, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much for sharing that. Out here, in Italy, consider coming in with tech skills, okay? Because they
Mm,
need like a lot of people in the tech sector. Website design, marketing, the advanced form, like to be able to handle social media channels and all of that. So if you're coming here, like really pick up on tech skills and also try and learn how to like teach English. So get certification for teaching. That is also a big thing out here. Then I think what Nancy mentioned, like her business is actually really booming here. There are a lot of Africans coming in. So on your student campus, you're going to get, a number of Africans that you can kind of like do hair for. And so this, I think, quickly, these are the skills you need to look at if you really want to come out here and stand
true.
out. Yeah, so that's what I'm just quickly going to mention. So
I
let
mean,
us move
sorry,
on.
sorry. If you can invest in learning French language, because if you're coming from Nigeria already, you know how to speak English. So if you can invest in learning like French language for a while, it would
Mhm.
actually change. It will actually very helpful when you're searching for jobs,
Good
because they
jobs.
like to see that you're making efforts in speaking French. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for mentioning that as well. Yeah, so now let us talk about like, scholarship opportunities available both in France the and Italy. So would you want to start from your end?
Yeah, sure. So basically, most of the scholarships that I know about, they're from the countries, your individual country. So
Okay.
like there is like a Nigerian scholarship for those, they choose people that have like the very best results, maybe
Mhm.
50 people, and then they sponsor them to go to France. So it's called the Total Scholarship. And
Mhm.
then I know there's one in Ghana as well, because there's
Mhm.
someone that I just heard about, and she was able to come to France totally for free. Her flight and everything was paid. So,
Wow.
there are some countries in the world like that have like this partnership with France. So they
Mhm.
get to have, so sometimes the scholarship comes from your own country. So you need to go to the campus France of your country to
Mhm.
find out, you know, what are the scholarship options. Then
Okay.
there are like some scholarships that are also in France, but mostly international students don't always get them,
Okay. Mm.
except you've been in France for a while, and then you
Wow.
can declare that you are like poor, you don't have like this, maybe you have the permit. It's possible as well, but it's very few people, because the scholarships in France will mostly be directed towards their own citizens as
Citizens.
well.
Okay.
So you need to
Okay.
find out from your own country. Then there's also like a website. I said it in one of my videos in the scholarship video I made, but I cannot
Okay.
remember the name. But it's like Campus France scholarships. Like if
Okay.
you search for that, Campus France scholarships, you see all the possible scholarships that
Which
you can
percent
actually benefit from, and then you can open it one by one and see if your country is eligible.
eligible? Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, we have both of us have specific videos for scholarships in, France and in Italy. So we suggest you go to the channel
Mm.
and actually like our channels and check those videos out. But then practically here in Italy, there are a lot of scholarship opportunities. That is
Wow.
why majority of the time you might not even be able to get like a job, but then you still be able to kind of like survive out here
Okay.
because the opportunities you can get a university scholarship directly from your university, and then most of them you'll be considered, automatically as long as you've applied to that university. And then
Wow.
as long as you apply early, like during the first call, then you can get departmental scholarships. You can get like, governmental scholarship like that of the MICE or Invest Your Talent. And then finally, the one of the popular kinds of scholarship in ET has to do with the regional scholarships as well.
Mm.
It's available to everyone, and in that they don't consider your like your merits. They don't consider your academics. So until now, the ones I mentioned were all going to they were all based on merit. And then for the regional scholarship, they are looking at your family situation, your economic situation. So if you guys are not well to do, they are just going to give you the scholarship
Oh.
based on how how poor you declare that you guys are. So
Mm.
there are lots of scholarship opportunities, and I think you should just check these videos out on our channel because we cannot really speak more about that in this specific video. Now let us move to the student jobs in France. So obviously, maybe you've gone through, you've applied to a number of universities. Now, if anyone, the person have been able to move to France, what are available student jobs in France?
Student jobs, I have a full detailed video of these things on my channel, so you can
Guys, check it
definitely
out.
go.
Yeah,
I'm just basically going to brief through. So
yeah.
like most students find jobs in like restaurants sector, restauration.
Mhm.
But the problem is that some of these restaurant owners will not recruit you if you don't even speak French, because the customers are going to be French people. That's why I mentioned earlier that you should try to invest in speaking French. So
Mhm.
restaurant jobs, you can also teaching jobs, but not everyone gets such job. Okay, yeah, babysitting, but then the babysitting comes with you actually teaching the kids like English language. Like
Yes.
you pick them from school, take them home, teach them English, and play with them till the parents come. So that's something that international students also like benefits, like they get types of job that international students also get. Of course, you could also like work, do some mania jobs if you, that's why I said when you come and you mix up with people, you see what other people are doing, and that
Doing.
way you'll be able to tell them, oh, if your boss is, tell them you have a friend. You can pitch yourself to your friends, your colleagues, your international students from, there are people from Asia, there are people from like other parts of the world as well, and many are doing so many things. So definitely if you have tech skills, just like Anissa mentioned earlier, it's a game changer. It's possible for you to get a remote job, a
Mhm.
remote student it's not even going to be student job because it's like a remote job and you're going to get well paid. So there are
Yeah.
so many things like that. If you have tech skills, freelancing skills, you can do take gigs online, and these are things that I know that, but most common of them is the restaurant jobs and
Yes.
maybe babysitting. Yeah,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are the
It's
ones
it's
that
like
every day you definitely find such jobs.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
It's the
about in
same out
Italy?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same out here.
Mhm.
Babysitting, working in a restaurant,
Oh,
and just
yeah,
like you
also
mentioned.
working at the mall. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
Working at the mall, like picking clothes like from
Yes.
Primark, all this like of big
Yes.
stores. And
Big
I mean there are
stores.
some stores that you need to be like this kind of person, like the typical like shapy kind of person that dresses before they can like employ you, because
For
they
you.
want you to look what they are selling, like all these fashion stores. So you can
Okay.
just go to stores where they sell food as well. You just putting food back into their right places, rightful like corners or wherever they are supposed to
What?
be. So
Okay.
things like
Sure.
that too. They don't really need you to speak French, but most of them will still say they want you to speak French, so that when
French.
customers come and they ask that, sorry, where can I find milk? You would understand what they're asking for,
Same.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. I feel like it's all around. These are the
Mhm.
kind of jobs like
Yeah.
these are the kind of jobs out here. So I think if you really want to know more about student jobs, with France, check out Nancy's channel, and then with Italy, check out my channel as well. We have videos on that, so we don't want to dwell so much on that. Now let us move on to life basically in France. Have you had instances where people actually treated you poorly because of your skin color? I know racism is a very, 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 very touchy topic.
Mm,
But then sometimes you really need to talk about it because if students are looking to come and study, they want to know this country that I'm
yeah,
moving to, how is
definitely.
the situation like there? Yeah. So let us quickly talk about that.
Actually, luckily, I've not really had like this racist serious. There are people that I know that are racist, but they've never really showed it directly to me. It could be
Mhm.
indirectly by doing
Yeah.
some certain things that I know that shouldn't be done. Like if I was white skinned or if I was American or something, maybe they wouldn't have done that, but because they just felt they could belittle me, they did that. But I
Mhm.
mean, I can't really give an instance at the moment, but I could say something that happened to my friend who recently came from Nigeria as a student, and he got a babysitting, like there's a babysitting company. He got the job. So the babysitting company acts as the middle person between the students and the family searching for a babysitter.
Mhm.
So he got them for two kids, like maybe 3 year olds. He was supposed to like babysit, and then they were like, "Oh, you have a Nigerian accent. We're not going to go on with you." Then it was like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, just going to speak English with your kids. Like, it's not like they even it's not like they even
Mm.
speak English. I'm just going to be speaking just for them to get familiar with like that. And then the parents were like, "Oh, sorry, they're not going back on their word because it's Nigerian." And then he told me that, and I was just like, what does that have to do with anything? So there are like extreme families that will tell you, "Oh, because you have a Nigerian accent or because you're black, I don't want my children to be scared of you or something." They'll say it in the most polite way, but no matter how polite it is, it still doesn't make sense. Eventually
Yeah.
he found another family that were so happy to have him, and they were so like overjoyed that they even have someone who speaks English. So these are just little things here and there. So what about you? Like, I don't know. Do you have like
Yeah. Okay, based on like seriously out here, it depends on the city that you'll be moving to. Okay, where the majority of blacks and all of that, it's like they're more accustomed, so you're going to meet a number of people treating you well.
uh
But then there'll always be instances where you feel like someone is not, but sometimes you just have to overlook it and just keep moving.
I can
And no
imagine.
two people have had the same experience in this country or in anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
So obviously, some will be in a particular region and they might not have experienced this, and then you might go through that. So I think just be open-minded about that. And then what I would say is, if you feel like you're put in a spot where someone is treating you poorly, please talk to the person, like stand up for yourself and be like, no, I don't want to be treated like this. I think this wasn't right. I think this could have
definitely.
gone better. I think you should stand up for yourself if
Mm,
you find yourself in that situation. But then obviously, yeah, there are instances where you're going to find yourself where people will treat you poorly. Until recently, I've not had that experience, but then recently it happened, and I was like, wow, okay, fine, let's move. Let's just keep
okay.
going. Yeah, you can choose to dwell on it or just keep going. I was like, okay, I'm just going to move on and just remove myself from that situation. So it's up to you. Just choose not to remove yourself from that situation, and you'll be good to go. So that is what we have to share with you. So if you consider moving to France, just be open. Just know that you can experience racism anywhere in the
Yeah, it
world.
depends.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah. And then it depends as well. Okay, now we've spoken about, the juicy stuff. We are still moving on with the conversation. So I hope if you are still listening at this point and you're looking to, do I need to move to France? Do I want to move to Italy? I hope as the conversation is going on, it's helping you to clarify some doubts, answer some questions for you. And, obviously, at the end of the day, you get to decide where you really want to move to for your studies or to kind of like move for work. Now, I want us to talk about dating. You know, yes, I want us to talk about like dating in these countries. Would you what would you describe dating like in Italy? Because we all have different cultures, and obviously anyone looking to move out or want to know what's the dating scene like in this country, what's the dating scene like in France, what's the dating scene like in Italy. So can you tell us like a bit? Would you say it's easier to date in France as a black person?
Um, Personally, I don't know because I've never dated in France. But I mean, I'm just going to give my own. I'm going to answer the question based off people that I know that have
No,
lived in France, and they've dated and told me about their stories. I'm not mentioning their names anyway.
exactly.
Um, Actually, I think it's a thing in Europe. Okay, I'm not going to speak for the whole Europe, but maybe the part of Europe that I've been, um it's kind of like difficult dating, because the idea like that we have from our country or from my country is kind of different. Like in Nigeria, when you're going every day, when this is so funny. When you're stepping out of your house, be sure that someone is going to say, "Hello, hello, sorry, please, can I have your contact?"
You know,
But in this part of the world, yeah, yeah, it's possible. Like in 3 years, maybe two people have said hello, hello, and they are black people. They are black guys, like to me. So you might start thinking that, okay, am I ugly? Like, what's happening to
what's
me?
going on?
Yeah, but you will not understand that here they have a different policy. Most of their dating thingy happens on dating apps. They have
Yeah,
Inch and all these other apps. Like you
yeah,
just need to download the app, and then you'd match with someone. You go on a couple of dates, and you might, and from the dating app you can specify what you're looking for: friends with benefits, or you're just looking for someone to be seen every Friday night. So it depends on what you guys are. So if you are looking for something long term, it could be
that one.
difficult on those dating
Yeah,
apps. But generally I would say that there are people that have also like met their partners, like through maybe just going to a place of worship in
yeah,
France. Some have also met their partners just in class as well, or in the workspace. So
please,
it's
yeah,
varies. It happens eventually, but this is very difficult compared to where I'm coming from, or where we are both coming from. So
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's easy as well. What about for
yeah.
you? Like, do you think in Italy, what's it like in Italy?
Well, here I wouldn't say it's easier for black ladies to kind of like date out here, but at the end of the day, it all depends on what you're looking for. Just like Nancy mentioned, if you're not looking for anything really that serious, then okay, there's a high possibility you find someone. But then if you're looking towards marriage, something serious, commitment, it might be a bit difficult because majority of people don't really believe the young people don't really believe in marriage, and
Yeah.
people are okay with, oh, let's move in together,
Mm.
let's be partners, and then that is it, let's not do anything extra. Oh, so if you're not the type that is okay with that kind of like
Mhm.
arrangement, then obviously it's going to be really difficult for you. But then I'm not going to say never, never. It do happen for some people where you meet people and then they are willing to commit. So just be open minded about that as well. But then it's true. Most of this dating thingy is on online dating apps and all of that. And some other people also meet people through, clubs and all those kind of stuff.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you're not the person who go to this kind of like places, then you just have to look at meeting someone in maybe a church setting, a normal maybe party session, or probably meeting someone through someone that you know.
Lighting you
Because here, majority of people start dating like while they are young, through school,
young,
when
yeah.
they're in school,
Mm. Mm.
and all of that. They grew up in the same vicinity and all of that. So if you come in, like you come in and then you're old, it becomes a bit difficult because everyone has someone. Someone has someone. Everyone is dating. You're like, where do I find my person?
Mm.
Yeah. So
There's
it's
something
true.
I want to add actually. You mentioned in your question, you said as a black woman or something. Well,
Yeah.
in this part of like the world, like they kind of have a preconceived notion of, oh, a
Mm,
black woman is maybe
mm,
sexually active, and so you need to rewrite your own story. So if you
yeah.
come and then you're just jumping up and down because you want to be with a white person, so you do
What
not have
person?
to get papers or something. And they also feel like many people, black ladies who are like everywhere. They are actually after them because they want papers.
Even
So
because it's
sometimes they'll
true.
be like, oh, let's be together so so you can have papers. Like they see you with that type of mentality. Like,
Mentality. Yeah.
so you need to, even if you eventually find someone that is not African that you feel like you're in love with, you need to be sure of what the person thinks of you.
Of
Does this
you, that's
person
true.
see you because they feel like you see them, or they feel like you want to use them to get papers? And
That's true.
just like Anita said, in this part of the world, getting married is not even a thing at all. Like there's a
Yeah.
legal way you could become someone's partner. Partner, you give birth together, live together, rent, have a house together. Like it's
Together.
legal, but there's just no marriage involved because
Mm.
it's easier to divorce through that process than um
You
divorcing through
to
marriage.
marry.
So you need to be very, very careful when you want to date. No one is telling you not to date when you come to France or when you go to Italy, but you need to be careful of what the people think of you. Sometimes your own partner might not even think that way, but the family of the partner will feel like,
Mm.
oh, she's just with my son or he's just with my daughter because they want papers. I mean, I have colleagues who have had their fair
But
share of in-laws and then they just had to break things off, and yeah, so be very
yeah.
careful. That's
Yeah,
all I can
yeah.
say about dating.
Exactly, exactly. Most times, like our black men find it easier dating the white counterpart, but then for black ladies, it becomes a bit difficult because of various perceptions and all of that. Like for us, the perceptions do not really work in our favor, but then for them, the perception that they have of the black men actually do work
Yeah,
in their favor. So yeah, that's something you should actually definitely look out for if you're
yeah,
intending to kind of like move here for studies and also for work as well. So let us move on with the conversation. Now let us talk about expenses. We've spoken about dating, we've spoken about skills we need to have. Now let us talk about the average expenses in France and Italy. So what do you think is the average expense you kind of like you're going to make per month regarding food, regarding transportation, and housing and all of that? With France, what do you
yeah.
have to say?
Uh, like briefly, like I'll just say first, it depends on where you're living. If you're living
Yes.
in Paris, we can't compare like the amount you'll be spending to the amount I'm spending in Lille and the amount that someone who is in one village in France or a small town is earning. So it depends.
Yeah.
So there are places I see people that say they got accommodation for like 200 euros, 250 euros. But in Lille, where I am, like the range minimum I could get is like 350, like
Okay.
350, except I don't want something furnished. Maybe I just
Funny.
want to put my bed on the floor and live
Mm-hmm.
my simple life. Yeah. So
Yeah.
furnished one room in a shared apartment, 350. Whereas
Okay.
in Paris, the same thing, you pay like minimum
Mm.
600 per month.
Okay.
So you need to be 600. That's if you want to live a poor, simple life. Like you don't want luxury. If you want
Yeah.
luxury, it begins from like 700, 800. You get, we have
Wow.
like 800, 700 in Lille as well, but that's for if you want a luxurious or maybe an apartment for yourself, not just one
Yeah.
room. So, rents ranging from 300 and above, depending on your city. Transportation also depends on your city. So, whichever city you are, you need to get like the transport card. In Paris, I heard like the money recently increased to I think 85 or 89 euros per month for the
Okay.
transport card.
Okay.
And for like Lille, depending on your age, if you
Mm-hmm.
are below 25, you get to pay like 30 euros, 31 euros per month. If you're above that, you pay maybe 60, and you can get like benefits. Like if you are working, you can, it depends on the type of work, but if you are working, you get half of your transport payback. So like for me, the work I do allows for that. So I was able to
Okay.
get like half of like 31 euros that I spend on transport every month. So that's there. Feeding as well is a whole thing on its own. But
Nice one.
one thing I just know is that it also varies on the stores. There are some stores
Yeah.
that as a student, these are the stores you should go. And as a student, these are the stores that you should never enter.
Avoid.
Like if you enter them just to look around and get out. So like there's Lidl, there's Aldi, these are the cheap ones where you can get food. But anything that they write BIO on any store like BIO, like bio, everything is going to be expensive. Our feeding expenses is going to be different because of our
Different. Yeah.
different way of life. Minimum to survive, you need like, I'm just going to say 500 euros per month.
Okay.
I mean, you could see if you are if you are someone that you don't spend at all, you can still save out of that 500. But like
Yeah.
minimum 500 euros per month. So whatever job you get, hopefully you get 500 euros per month. If you're working 20 hours per week in France, you should be able to earn even more than 500 euros per month.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay.
so
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It's just around that out here, but then it mostly depends on which city you are intending to move to.
Mhm,
If you move to, larger and bigger cities like Rome, like Milan, like
yeah,
Bologna, you pay more. But
mhm,
then if you move to like the smaller cities, obviously, yeah, in a shared accommodation, you can spend something around 250, 300,
per
350.
month.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah, which is
that's
actually
nice.
good. Yeah, feeding it
Actually,
also depends on you.
okay, continue.
Yeah, feeding it just depends on you. If you are looking to just kind of like eat African foods, then you're going
Yeah,
to spend more.
yeah.
Yeah, you just have to adjust and start being comfortable
Yeah,
eating the food out
yeah,
here.
just eat bread
Yeah,
and cheese and be okay. Eat whatever you can find in your own
mm,
kitchen. And actually, there's like an organization in France that helps with the payment of rent. So at the end of the day, even if your rent is like above 350 and all, and you apply, it's possible for you to get half of your rent back every month. So the 500 per month that I said earlier, it's possible that you still have some change from that.
okay, that's
So
okay.
it depends on where you're living. 500 per month is nothing in Paris because
It will not
it's
be
just not
enough.
enough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So obviously, like from within that range, 500 to 700, that is what you should expect, covering like
Yeah, as a
the
student,
rent.
you should be able to earn like 500 from 500 and above every month. But if you don't get a job, money is not going to fall from heaven. So it depends on the
Exactly.
job. So and on the amount of like hours you get to work per week. So if you even if you get a job and then you are only working 5 hours per week, you are not going to make
Make
500 euros per month. It's not possible. So
yeah,
you need to work like the maximum for you to attain um
a bit
five,
of
6, 7, 800, 900 per month.
yeah, yeah. So we are going to move on to, you know, um, is it possible to get a job in France after graduation? You are done now. You have graduated. Is it easy? And is there a possibility for you to remain in France after school?
Um, yeah, after school, normally after your masters in France, I don't know about bachelors. After bachelors, maybe you can do another masters, do a
Mm-hmm,
masters just to prolong your stay. But after your
mm-hmm,
masters, you are entitled to a 1 year visa that
mm-hmm,
says normally the name is APS, but it has changed, like APS, but it has changed. But
mm-hmm,
I mean, I don't know that off the top of my head. So you are
yeah,
eligible for that. It's a kind of visa that says that you are searching for job. So then
mm-hmm,
it gives you time to actually search for a job. But the job that you must get if you want to change your like status to like a worker, the job must be in relation with your degree, what you just graduated with, and you must not be earning less than like 1,500 or something. Like you must not have like get you must not get below that like salary for you to be
salary.
considered. So
Wow.
it's lots more complicated because
Mm,
for you to just graduate and get that type of job is complicated as a foreigner because
yeah,
in this part of Europe there's this national preference. If you are not from the European Union, you are not from France, you are not really like considered as the top candidate, even though
mm-hmm.
like you might merit it. It takes a company that really doesn't care for them to want to go extra
Because
mile because for them to recruit a foreigner as well for a full-time position, they need to do a lot of paperwork, go to court and do a lot of things to prove that they chose this person because this person was better than the other Europeans on the list. So
mm-hmm.
not many companies want to go extra mile for every
Wow.
single person. So for a company to do that for you, you must actually stand out for them to
Yeah,
want to do that for you. So It's lots more complicated. Many people after like masters, they try to get another masters. Just if by the time you accumulate lots of degrees, eventually you'd surpass your counterparts when you're applying for that type of job later after another 2 years. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a challenging period getting a job after masters. But good thing is that if you get a 2 years masters, your second year might be most of the second year for masters, you need to get an internship. So it's
Mm-hmm.
possible when you are doing your internship, like internship will be for 6 months minimum. When you are doing your internship, if you do well, the company might want to like keep you with them. So that's
Okay.
another possibility for you to convert. They convert, they give you a role. That's something that many people also benefit from. From their internship, they just continue staying in that company. So that's another thing that I know that people do. But
Mm.
it's not easy. No matter the
Easy.
situation, it's not easy at all. You need to keep trying, but eventually you get something. It might not be necessarily in France, it might be in America, it might be in other parts of Europe, Luxembourg, even Italy. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
someone that is working in like Italy and he graduated from France. So it happens very
No,
well.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Do
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you think it's
Yeah.
easy getting jobs in Italy after like
Well, I wouldn't say it's that easy, but then one thing I like is the fact that after, with the conversion, you can get any kind of full-time job, and then
ah
it will help with the conversion as compared to you getting one that is really related to
to
your
your
degree.
program? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
that
we
makes
need
it
to
easier.
get related. You can't just like get a full-time job at a restaurant after studying communications and interpreting.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
yeah.
consider you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here
unfortunately.
it's actually easier. And then it's easier for you to kind of like remain here after university as well, because
Mm,
any kind of job you get, you can use to convert and then
convert
later begin to look for, any job opportunity in line
something
with
really.
your degree.
Wow,
Yes, yes,
wow.
yes, yes, yes,
Mm,
yes, yes. So
that's
what
cool.
would you say, yeah, what would you say is the average salary in France? Because here it's on the floor, like it's not the pay is not really that good.
Yeah, the minimum wage is about 11 euros 95, I guess. So
Okay.
some companies will still remove taxes from that per hour.
Mhm.
So you get at the end you get like 9 euros, maybe 9 euros
Mm,
something. But
okay.
some will just give you a little bit above the minimum wage, which is like maybe 12 euros or 13
That's
euros per hour. And when they remove the taxes, you still get like 11 something or
okay.
12. So it
That's so
depends
good.
literally
That's
where you're working.
that's so good. That's so good. Here it's not that good. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The salary is not
I think the economy is
that good.
different. The France
Yes,
economy is a bit high
it's
in
very
Europe
strong. Yeah,
compared to
yes.
Italy. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mm.
Okay, so my last but one question before we end the session, would you say France is the place for any student wanting to come and study in France? Will you be able to kind of like study and also work as well?
Oh yeah, just like I mentioned earlier, you can get like student jobs. I mean, you might not get the student job like, oh, you're a software engineer, and then with your masters, you get a software engineering position, and then you're already doing everything together. You might get something like that, but maybe remote, like maybe from
Mhm.
another country like Portugal, and then you do that online while you do
Online.
your masters. But you might end up getting something like restaurant jobs, even though you're a software engineer. You just have to do it for a while. So I would definitely say that France is a place for study. It's one of the like world powers right now, like a developed country, and it gives you it gives you access to other like European countries. So at the end of the day, you can decide not to stay in France. You can go to Netherlands, Belgium, their surrounding countries, Italy, Portugal. You can move.
Yeah,
So it gives you this mobility opportunity. So it's definitely a place you should consider if you want to come to study in Europe. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's true, it's true, it's true.
What
You
about
should,
Italy?
yeah, I think you should consider here too because after studies, it gives you the opportunity to kind of like move anywhere you really want
Hmm.
to move to, and then you get to study at affordable, price.
Yeah.
And yeah, tuitions you can get tuition as low as free. You won't pay anything. So I think this is the place for studies. But then you should not be so big on I want to really, really study and work like and be
Yeah.
earning a lot. Yes, you should. If you are the person that you really want to study, then this is the place for you.
Mhm.
And if you can manage with any normal kind of like job and be able to survive, then this is the place for you. But then definitely you should consider moving here for study and also for work. So the last thing we're going to talk about, and then we'll be out of here, is what will be your last words to anyone wanting to move to France for studies and also for work? What would you like to tell them?
Um, I think I've talked about this before. Like, be open-minded, mix with people, ask questions. Don't just assume. There's some people that just come and then they've not asked any questions from anyone. They don't really know anything. You're just going. It's possible you can do that, and eventually you will learn. When you spend so much money on
Mhm,
something, because we have a group for those coming to France to teach, to like as an
mhm,
English assistant. So we try to give them lots of tips, whereas some of them, maybe those that did not like get to know like some of these tips, they just come to France, buy like 4 5 sims, and see that they wasted money or just waste money on certain things, whereas we have learned. So if you don't want to like mix up with people, you will learn the hard way, and that's by
yeah,
losing money. So
money.
that's what I can
Yeah,
say. Like, you need to be ready to ask questions and learn from people, because people who have gone through the process, so that your own path can be easier.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
But
believe so
all
too.
in all, you would have fun.
Yeah, yeah. I believe so too. Like you're really going to experience a different kind of life.
Mm.
So you should be open-minded about it. And then this is actually like an amazing place. Constant moving here. It's easier moving kind of like out here, but then you should also be willing to kind of like um, relate with people, join communities so that it's kind of like you're able to integrate and then you're also able to get the benefits that is kind of like that comes with living or moving to a place like Italy and also a place like France. So like that is it for this session. Well, I just like I mentioned at the beginning, like for you, you cannot just make that decision from this single video. So do check out Nancy's channel to kind of like know more about life in France so that to help you make your decision whether that is a place for you. And also do check out my channel. I have a lot of videos to kind of like help you make the decision if Italy is the place for you. So that is it for this video. It's a wrap. Before we go, I'm going to let Nancy kind of like drop her details so that you go check out her channel. So Nancy, please drop your details, your
Um,
YouTube, Instagram, and all of that, the socials.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if they're going to see my name, but my name on the screen right now is Walk with Mide Nancy, and that's the name
Yes,
of my channel. And from
yes,
my Instagram, it's just Mide Nancy, but it's not capital letter M and N. It's small letter MIDE, then underscore and Nancy. So I mean, if you come to my YouTube, you're going to find my Instagram link anyway, and you
yeah.
can always click on it directly. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and it's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Hopefully, one of these days I will invite you to my channel so people can know about Italy as well, and come to like, yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm definitely going to leave her details in the description in case you didn't get like Instagram details and all of that. I'm going to leave it in the description. So please do check out my details as well from the description. And I'm also going to tag her in this video as well. So you don't have to worry, you just get access to a channel directly. So thank you for coming on. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining me on this episode of
Thank you.
Lenses. So, guys, that is it. We'll see you in the very next episode of Lenses. Bye.
Bye.